Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. It's Draxyr. I love that old intro. It's been a long time since I've used it, but we're back. This is the second video in a week that I've done, so we're pumping out an exponential rate compared to what I was doing before, which is like 0.01. We're going to be reviewing two games. It's going to be a Camille jungle and then a Ornn top game. The last video that we did, we VOD reviewed Viper, who played Riven top. And so now I thought, why not give two different perspectives, a early gank jungle and a tank top for those two sections of the video that will be about to perform. And yeah, let's get right into it. With me today, I have a friend. His name is Aurelius Zeno. He's a D5 North American player, and he will be helping me out with this video, asking questions, maybe providing some insights. We'll have to wait and see. So I'm excited for this, and I hope you are too. Let's get right into it. So at the beginning, Zeno, you have any questions before we start, or we want to just get right into it? Yep, that makes sense. In the chat, I actually put I'm going to gank top at level 6, but ganking Jace before level 6 as an Ornn Camille duo is not very good. You're not actually going to be able to kill him. You can maybe chunk him. Maybe kill him if you get really lucky, but I don't like to play those odds. I'm not a big gambler, so that's what that would be doing. Is ganking top is basically a gamble. Big waste of time, could go bad in 2v2. So let's just stay away until level 6. That was my game plan. Okay, here. So this is actually a really interesting train of thought. This is higher level macro. In League, we don't get to do this very often, but I actually got this train of thought. I've been playing a lot of chess recently, so thinking a lot of moves ahead in chess is crucial to playing at just the most basic amateur level. And League, we don't really get the opportunity to do that a lot. We're playing and we're worrying about so many variables in the moment that it's just so impossible to think many steps ahead. And the moments that you do, you know it feels great. But here, this is an example of me doing it preemptively, not just thinking, oh, I can do this and this and this. It's from the beginning of the game, I already had a game plan. And so here's the chess move. Chess move is to invade the bot side. What does that do? It pushes their bot side inwards, and it makes them scared of that sector, right? It makes their top side collapse inwards and maybe get some deep vision, right? And maybe makes them drop some wards at the entrance to their jungle. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to make the map rotate? Why do I want their top lane and top side to go this way and my to go this way? Because I know we're not going to get a kill. We probably won't if they 5-point, which they did. So Zeno, any idea why I would do this? Exactly. So from the beginning, I was playing to level 2 gank bot lane. You cannot level 2 gank bot lane if they ward the tri-bush. So I needed to prevent them from warding the tri-bush. And this is the chess move. So check this out. And you'll see it play out exactly how I planned. I'm going to go ahead and put on directed camera. We didn't manage to kill the ward, which is kind of unfortunate. But it doesn't matter in the end because this ward's vision, as we can tell here, only gives up to here. And I know that. And so as you'll see, I avoid that patch of vision. So this should be F3. No. F3 gives, yeah, here we go. So now this ward has been placed. This is the ward by Nami. Their 80 carry will almost never ward in the early game. 80 carries don't have it built into their muscle memory. So at this point, I feel like, okay, if they are not, oh, as you can see the pings, I'm pinging that. If they are not camping this bush, which if they are, they die anyway, then there's no way they can know that this level 2 gank is coming. So check it out. So we sit here and wait. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a bit. All right. This was kind of tragic. She didn't proc her 5th hit because she was afraid of stealing the buff from me, so it took a lot longer than it should have. About 4 seconds, which is quite a bit. All right. So as you can see, here's the vision. They cannot see me right now because I walked through this patch. Do you see that? So now, because I walked through this brief denial of vision here, because I know the ward is here and I know the lane vision enters here, I walked straight through here, and that's exactly where they cannot see. So here comes the gank. Now, This is actually something really important as a jungler. You can be in the right place at the right time, but you have to know how to execute the gank. So, in this scenario, both of these players are pretty weak. This guy is weaker than the Varus, but right now Pyke is charging up his Q, and Kai'Sa's coming in from the back, okay? He should have been farther up, but I don't know, he's trolling. So here we go. I want to time my E at the same moment, so I'm waiting for this guy to launch his Q. I want to time my E at the same moment that this Q goes off. You see that? So the moment this Q goes off, I double tapped E. One here and one here, and that makes me insta-cast. The reason why I want to do that is because this guy will not be able to flash out of it. If I time it badly, he flashes out and he's gone because Kai'Sa doesn't have CC. He just uses his only ability, and I'll have nothing. So this is how I want to play it. The only way I can fix the problem is if he flashes it, I have to flash to counter his flash, which is generally no good. Because I was kind of far away. That's the problem. I wasn't close enough. I could have tried and flash forward, but that's pretty risky to do because my E is delayed. And the Nami could block my hook shots. So here, if I walk forward here, I'll be right here, right? I'll be right here, right? So I'll be standing right here at the time. He gets hooked, and he'll flash this way. And there's no way for me to get to him now. He's out of range. So I'm just too far away. If I was closer, absolutely that's the way you could take it. Like if they were over here, then I'm not going to hook shot immediately at all. But because I'm just too far away, and he choreographed it too hard, telegraphed it, not choreographed, I had to. But that's a good question. Absolutely. If they were farther down the lane, it's absolutely the way we can play it. Now, this was actually really interesting. My Kai'Sa did not follow up like at all. If he flashed forward and started auto-attacking the Varus, we would have killed him for sure because he still had his Q up. That's why I flashed forward to proc the press the attack because I was expecting the Kai'Sa to be able to do this last bit of damage, but he decided not to follow up, so it was kind of tragic. So we get the 2 summoners and we ping it in the chat so we know. And this is the point where this game can go very, very badly. Lucky for me, their Olaf is very, very bad. Look what he did. He went red, and then Raptors, and then Krugs, which, spoiler alert, this is a really crappy path for a lot of reasons. We're not going to talk about that right now, because I'd rather focus on the Camille play and not the enemy jungler's play, because I didn't know he was doing this. So at this point, I suspected that he was going from here to my blue buff. So immediately after I take the Scuttle Crab, I start to path towards his blue buff. Now, the reason why this is not that dangerous is because if he decided not to go for my blue buff and he went and pathed here and he shows up, I can go ahead and basically I'll drag the buff towards here, and if he shows up, I basically just have to run. Their bot lane can't match because my bot lane is priority, and I'll go and rotate back over to my camp. I'll be behind, but it's the cost of failing the level 2 gank in the bot lane. So here I'm dragging it away from the wall, and he doesn't show up, and so the timer is wrong. When I say the timer is wrong, he should have been here by now. So that means that I know he went for some play topside. I assumed that he went for my blue buff. It turns out he's bad and didn't. So you'll see that in a bit. So I go ahead and take his blue buff, and he ganks my top laner here. Which, okay, here's a tip about top lane. If your jungler is playing towards the bot side, please concede the top side. Makes the game a lot easier. Unfortunately, Ornn didn't know that, so he dies for his sins. And I'm going to go ahead and clear top side here, or bot side. The reason I can't gank is this guy's pushed in, and these guys are pushed in too. I have no summoners, and my support has no ignite, so I have to keep farming. Let's go ahead and speed through this because it's literally just me farming the jungle. My mid laner stopped the Olaf from taking the blue buff, which is really good. Now we're going to keep playing this. Alright, now, I've taken the entire bot side. I have 2 options, okay? I can try a gank mid, / go farm. That's my 2 options. Or, that's my first option. This is impossible. He has both summoners up. Kled doesn't do a lot of damage. In a burst like that, he does damage over a longer period of time, which can be flashed. So, I can go farm Raptors or Krugs, or path to my top side. Pathing to top side is really bad. If I want to go top side, I might as well just back and then run there. So my only options here is farm the Krugs or Raptors, Both of them aren't very appealing because I don't have a ton of gold right now. I have 653. So if I take either of these, I'm not actually giving myself any extra items. So it doesn't make a ton of sense to do that. So instead here, I look for another gank. Now, this makes no sense on the side of their bot lane because they know I'm in the bot side sector and they know their top lane is currently having their jungle pressure for them. So this overextension here makes absolutely no sense. So, okay, I get this guy. Now, I don't have flash, so I have to dodge this bubble. What I needed to do was step just a micro inch right here to the bottom here, and I would have been better, but my movement is still kind of rusty in this game. Second game back. He gets hooked, and he's dead as well. Flash is late. So that's a double kill, and finally, that level 2 gank paid off. No summoners in the Varus, and they had a loss of lane pressure, and the wave was bouncing back because my team bounced it against their tower, and this is where the game starts to go from bad to good. So I basically knew that if I didn't get the kills in the bot lane there, and instead went to farm, my level 2 mishap, the fact that it went badly, would just snowball this game into a loss. Because Camille jungle needs to win the early game. Otherwise, she doesn't scale, she doesn't farm, she just cannot do anything. So she has to get a lead early game. And so with that mishap in the early game, what did I get out of that mishap? It was a trade, a bad trade, but what did I get out of it? Flash and heal on Varus. So I need to cash in on that, and that's what I just did. Instead of just doing what a lot of junglers do, and basically just ignore the fact that they just burned summoners, or the fact that a lane doesn't have any summoners, and just kind of not go there ever again, which is kind of strange. That entire time, Olaf never took to my blue, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I bought the Caulfield Warhammer. This is actually something that I'm testing. Don't do this. I think Skirmishers is probably better with boots and pots, but I just tried it out, and it didn't feel too bad, actually. It made my clear speed a lot faster, which is actually really interesting. I'm going to keep testing it. Don't quote me on this, but it actually didn't feel too bad. Most of the time, though, Skirmisher Saber is this traditional buy. So at this point, my entire top side is up because he never took it. His entire bot side is down because he's bad. And I'm going to go ahead and clear my top side jungle and cash in my second advantage of the game. So first, I cashed in the first advantage, which was capitalizing on the flash heal and the Varus, and Nami paid for it. Now that's a lead cashed in. When I say cashed in, I mean you can get an advantage, but sometimes that advantage doesn't actually amount to anything. You getting a CS advantage doesn't amount to anything unless you solo kill them, or get a tower, or get a level advantage, or something like that. You're cashing in on your lead. But at this point, I cashed in on that one, and now I'm cashing in on my second advantage, which is the fact that I counter jungled his entire bot side. All right? Sure. Yep. Because I knew he didn't take it. We had it warded. If it was, yeah, it was warded. Yeah. If I didn't know and I thought he had taken my entire top side, then it is probably preferable to either stay and hit the tower and deny another wave, or maybe farm, or go back and run straight to my bot side and try re-gank. That's probably more traditional play. But because we had it warded, I knew that I could go cash in that second advantage that I was talking about. Also keep in mind, sorry. You generally assume that it's taken if the timing makes sense. If the timing doesn't make sense, if I was paying really close attention to Olaf this game, which I was, if you look at the timing of where he showed up and when with how much CS, I would know that he didn't take the camps in the first place, which also, because he's bad, just clarifying that for the audience. But for whatever reason, if he didn't take those camps, you kind of have to track them while you're doing all of these things and try and keep a hold of what they're doing, even if you can't see them. The timing of when they show up is oftentimes indicative of where they are. Remember, I took this blue buff? The reason why I used my E and just stopped kiting it, like I would have normally kept kiting it back, right? So I could get out if he showed up. But the moment he didn't show up in those 5 seconds, I knew he wasn't there. He was in topside. Because if the timing didn't make any sense, if he was running straight to blue, he would have been here already. Does that make sense? You can kind of guess where he is based on where he isn't. And that's generally how that goes. All right, now, this is advantage number 3. I cannot clear Raptors. Can't do it. So my two options right now is I have no pots. I'm sitting on 470 gold. I can either try and gank. Top is no gank. Mid is no gank. Yet. So this is what I was zoning in on. You see this wave right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on this wave position. So this wave minion disadvantage is not enough to stop this wave from pushing in this direction. So what I wanted to do is I turned on my sweeper to look for deep wards, and I'm going to run with the sweeper all the way up to here and just sit right here and look for a gank opportunity on the mid lane as this pushes in, because my only other option is to back, and that doesn't feel great at 470 gold. It works. I can get boots in pot or boots into pink ward and gank bot, but it delays my tempo. So instead I went for this play, which can be risky. So here, I sit in this bush. And look who comes in. Oh, it's an Olaf. All right. So my E just went on cooldown. Let's go ahead and skip back so you can see the actual cooldown. So here's my E, level 4. All right. E is down 10 seconds, right? So 524, it comes back up. All right, here we go. So 524, 516. Right now I'm pinging the hell out of my mid laner, or I'm typing in chat or something. I remember I communicated him somehow. Here we go. He walks right past, puts a ward. When they stand still like this, you know they're placing a ward, so I know that he placed a ward there. And I'm just waiting. I don't have E for 4 seconds, 524, and my Kled is not here yet. So I'm just going to chill and wait. Waiting, waiting. And now he's about to start running in this direction, and I don't want him to be able to escape to his rise. I actually didn't see that my laner had pinged that he had no flash, so that's a mistake on my part. That's called failed information gathering. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you know what they have and what they don't. So I thought he had flash here, which is why I started W here. Since I knew that he didn't have flash, I probably should have waited just a little longer. But anyway, thought he had flash. So I start the engage here. The reason I didn't open up with my hook shot is because I don't want him. Like I said, I didn't know if he had flash or not. I don't want him to flash my hook shot and get away because my Kled is on the way. So I know that he can't burst me down through my passive. So I'm like, let's just bait him into a fight here. And that's exactly what I do. And he's gone. Third advantage cashed in. Okay. So now he's in a lot of trouble. The cool thing about getting that kill is I'm sitting at 830 gold, which is enough for my Skirmisher Saber. Now here in the bot lane, my bot lane is cashing in to their advantage, which is very, very good. The reason why this doesn't go super well for my bot lane is because when you heal through an ignite, it doesn't heal you for much. So heal before ignite. It's a pretty good thing. Or you can heal after the ignite stops. That works too. Don't heal during the ignite. It doesn't work. So he almost dies. They could have easily double killed that, but heal is a hard ability to use. Alright, so I backed. I got my Skirmisher Saber. Now I can clear a Raptor camp. So if I decide to do so, I can do that. I'm sitting at level 5, but I have no experience under my belt. Okay, you see this. I have no experience under my belt. If I clear this camp right now, what do I get? You can take a second to think about that. The answer is absolutely nothing. 0. I get nothing for clearing this camp. I get XP, which doesn't level me up, so no extra stats, no extra ability levels, and I get no gold because I'm not spending it, so actually gives me nothing. So, instead of taking the Krugs, let's go ahead and say hi to the Varus. So he spots me out here, but it's a little bit too late. He has no flash, and I know that. He gets slowed here. Okay, you guys can take bets at home. This guy is slowed for about 80% of his movement speed. This Pike is charging his Q. He has no flash, just burned his heal, and I have my Q up. And Skirmisher Saber. This guy's dead, right? Alright, you guys can take a vote. Alright, let's play it forward. Let's see what happens. Okay, pro tip. When someone is slowed, it doesn't matter how they juke, how they move. After a certain percentage of slow, they can't dodge. It's not possible. If they don't have flash, you just throw it right at them. So doing this, there's no point. Like, even if he kept walking into it and got hit, sure, that's cool. You would have done the exact same thing if you just threw it in a straight line because he's slowed. When someone is slowed, just throw it straight at them. You guaranteed hit them. So I was like, I pinged him missing. Pretty standard stuff there. And we missed a kill for absolutely nothing. So it was kind of tragic. And now I go walk up the river and look for another gank. Camille, early gank jungler. The only buffs I care about is red, blue, and Gromp. Maybe wolves. Those I can clear relatively fast. Krugs, Raptors, I can take them. They take a long time. I would rather spend my time leveling up, getting things that actually matter, and getting ganks. So here we go. Dun 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 dun. He keeps going. He starts to tank the tower because he's Kled. He has no flash, so and no defensive summoner spell, and that is a successful dive. Okay, so key points there. Make sure that the Kled goes first so he can reset the aggro as he dismounts. Make sure that you wait for the Rise flash to hookshot, and the gank will go well. So here, remember I said red buff, Gromp, and blue. The only buffs I actually care about. I'm going to go ahead and smite this because I forget what I'm doing here. I either want to back or I want to gank bot lane. Let's go find out. Okay, so turns out I want to gank bot lane. Here we go. Remember, gank, gank, gank. And what did red buff give me? It gave me red buff. It gave me a level. Like, these are the camps you want to take that actually make a difference. On your downtime, like I did here, you do want to farm. But these camps are all camps that I farm well, and they're camps that I had downtime on, which I didn't have any lanes to gank. But in this case, I do. All right, so here we go. So now, Olaf, okay? We didn't see Olaf for a long time, and I just cleared my red buff. Generally, it's not always true, junglers are parallel to your current position. And it's good to play that way for a lot of reasons. Like I said, this is jungle macro. We're not going to cover this. That's more advanced jungle theory. I want to talk more about what I'm doing. But the junglers are generally parallel to each other. And because of that, I said, my top lane can't get ganked because he's Ornn. My mid lane is under tower. So where's the enemy team going to make a play? It's going to be in the spot lane. And which position do I want to be in if my bot lane gets ganked? Do I want to be here? I mean, it's okay. I can counter gank, literally. Like, I can come around after they get engaged on and hope that it goes well. But instead, I said, why not? Since I know the gank is coming, either the Olaf or the Rise, why don't I just sit in this bush and wait? And here comes the gank. I wait for the Rise to burn all of his abilities. I ult the bubble there, which is a pretty mechanical, important thing to do there. So I can make sure the Varus dies. And there you go. It's constantly pushing your lead, constantly making proactive plays, and in a way reactive as well. So now 2 are dead. I'm going to pressure the Olaf off of his blue buff. My mid laner DC'd or something here. I'm not entirely sure what that was, but if he came faster, it would be better. My bot lane starts to move, so I start to move forward as well. I get hit by the bubble because I didn't see it coming from the Fog of War. And now this guy is currently caught out of position. So we go ahead and take him down. So he positioned too far up without flash. So he dies for sin. So here, you get 2 kills. Your options here are taking Dragon, which is risky because they have 2 here, and my mid lane was like DC'd or something, so I wasn't sure what was going on with him. Maybe he wasn't in a good position internet-wise. So 2 versus 3 while getting hit by a Cloud Dragon with absolutely no armor HP, it's going to suck. So don't really want to take that fight too much. It can go badly when we have such a big lead. So instead, it's much safer to take a fight around a much smaller objective that doesn't do any damage to me. And, of course, make the enemy team out of position. All right. So we constantly pushing our lead with this early game jungler. When you get behind on an early game jungler, you basically just lose the game. But when you do get a lead, this is how you win. All right. Clarification, least by an early game jungler, Lee Sin, Elise, Xin Zhao, these kind of qualify into that role. Camille suffers the strongest. She is the strongest early game jungler, has the best ganks and some of the best dueling, but she has the strongest fall off. If she does not get a lead, she actually is useless. She can't farm, she can't XP, like I've always said. But Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, Elise, these junglers can keep up and farm. They can scale into the mid game, so it's not as harsh on them. But the same kind of theme applies. So anyway, the flash forward from the Pike, and this guy dies as well on his way back to lane. That's just him tilting. He should never have done that. So that's a freebie that we get there. And at this point, I still don't drop tempo. I said, we got those kills bot lane, right? Time to make another play. Onto the Rise. And Olaf again, just one step too slow on the punch. He dies solo, and this is where I make the first mistake, my first mistake of the game. All right, so I didn't realize that Olaf had gone into my jungle. So this was very, very well played by the enemy team. So I get completely bamboozled here. I knew the Olaf was topside, but I thought he was going to come from this direction. but I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that he was going to come from that direction in my own jungle, so I just died for it. Very well played from the Olaf there. So that was really tragic. Yep, so that was a mistake, and very bad mistake to make when you're 6-0. So definitely, there's something called the preservation playstyle. It's going to be a big thing. I'll be working on it for a while, and I'm going to make this big, another big article about it, 80K words or whatever. And so it's something I'm talking about. Basically is when you get a lead, you want to keep it. And you want to capitalize on leads that the enemy team gives you. Basically, preserve your power. Kai'Sa 1-for-1s, which is not a good thing to do. She doesn't preserve her lead either. I believe the Rise flashes out of this. Oh no, I think he should die here. Yeah, he does. He doesn't even have flash. And he's gone. Alright, so my team makes a play, which is the first time in the game that they've actually made a play that's decent without me being there, but it's good enough. So I'm still driving forward the lead. I saw that we killed mid, right? And I saw that my bot lane is doing well, 6-1. So I'm going to go ahead and start pressuring this top side out. This is the last lane that is yet to lose. So I'm going to step forward and start to do that. The reason why this is not risky is if Ryze was up and he can move over to start a 3v2 with the Olaf, the Ryze, and the Jace, it's a very risky position to be in. But I saw that he just died, so this gives me a lot of time to pressure out this Jace. So I kind of just sit up here, kind of just chilling. I go through the enemy jungle, and this is safe because my Kled is pushing through the mid lane. I look for the dive on the Nami, but the Kled misses both his E and his Q, so we go ahead and back off. He has no power. And now instantly I transition to moving back towards this top side. There's absolutely no reason to stop pressuring it. The Olaf is not going to move towards his top side when all of the camps are down. I just checked that all of his camps are down. There's no way he's going to move up there, and so this is free reign. My Ornn, for whatever reason, AFK is back here, and so we missed this. I didn't even see that he was AFK there. I just couldn't believe that he did that. But anyway, this dive, he starts to tank the tower, and this is a free kill. So I knew Olaf was not going to position to the top side because all of his camps were down. Usually they position to the other side. Bot lane makes a play at the same time, and that's when this game just starts to completely fall apart for the enemy team. So playing around the enemy jungler, even when you're ahead, very, very important to do. You don't want to throw your lead. Ryze AFKs. And I stopped chasing this because it was very spooky. I didn't know where anyone was. I guess I should have been paying attention to the respawn timers, but I was kind of hyped. My heartbeat was kind of going pretty fast this game. They do the dragon, and now it's time for me. So now is the downtime. All of the gank pressure is gone. There's nowhere to gank. Can't gank top. No ultimates. Can't gank mid. There's no one there. Can't go bot. Too far away. So now this is the downtime that I've been looking for to catch up in some experience. I'm now level 8. I've caught up to the Olaf. He's been farming all game, and so I'm not too far behind. I go ahead and back instantly. Why? I don't want to spend time farming the Gromp and the Wolves. I want to keep pushing the pace, and to push the pace, I need this red buff. So instantly I back, I pick up my Tiamat, which is going to help me keep up in levels, and I run straight for this red buff. So I'm going to speed it up here. Here I come. I'm going to go and do the red buff. We're going to speed through the rest of this game because Ryze is AFK, so it's basically a 4v5. So now I can clear the Raptors well because I have the Skirmishers as well as the Tiamat, which makes it even easier. I saw the Nami place the ward. So I start clearing out the vision, allowing my Kai'Sa to push into spot lane safely. I'm basically your escort. I saw the Pyke going top, and I said, where's our weak point? Where's the weak point in the chess formation? Oh, it's my Kai'Sa. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And this is the second. That wasn't really a mistake. It was more just a mechanical misplay. So go ahead and check this out. Varus has both summoners up. And so this should be a super free kill. She just dies, which is kind of sad. So here, if I ulted the Nami instantly, I might have been able to escape and then kill her afterwards. But because I didn't manage to dodge the bubble, I just kind of paid for it. So mechanical misplay leads to a death, but giving the bounty to this guy, not the worst. Giving bounties to actual champions that can carry is much, much worse. So at this point, it was the second mistake and the only mistake that I made left, and the game is about to end anyway because the enemy team will surrender, and that's the end of the game. So and the reason, I think you can say that the game is really short and that it's a bad example and it's just a snowball, but the reason why I don't usually include videos like this, the reason why I do, and I did this time, is this is what early game jungling is supposed to look like. When you have a lead, which you're supposed to get with these tools that you're handed as a jungler, you get an early lead, you keep pushing it forward, the tempo never stops, push, 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 no overextensions, keep track of the enemy jungler, know what lanes to play around, you're playing around the lanes that are strong until the point where they're strong enough to hold their own, then you want to start transitioning to help your top side if it's low, or in this specific case it was top side, it could be any side in any of your games. But make sure that you're not in a situation where you have a chance to throw. You want to be risk averse. You want to preservation playstyle. Preserve your lead. Don't throw it. Especially an early game champion. The corollary is also true. You not only, if you don't get a lead, you lose. If you throw your lead, even like a couple of times in bad places, you lose. So those 2 deaths that I had there were very close. If the Rise kept fighting, we could have lost that game because of those 2 deaths. If I didn't die those 2 times, however. Of course, that different story. It's impossible for the enemy team to win, but that's what I'm saying. Push the tempo, keep ganking on early game junglers, and that is how you can succeed. My team didn't play particularly well this game, but managed to be good enough. We took over that win. All right, we're going to move into the Ornn top game, and this one's going to go much faster, so don't worry about it. And this is going to kind of show how you can carry from a tank top, and this is really a good topic to tackle right now because Worlds meta is coming up. And since Worlds meta is coming up, tanks are going to be all the rage. And when tanks are all the rage, you've got to learn how to play tanks in the top lane. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. Take a look at the compositions here. The reason why I picked Ornn is because I believe Camille was taken by the enemy jungler. That's right, so I couldn't pick my one trick, Kappa. And my mid laner is Yasuo, and my jungler is Rengar. So we don't have a lot of AP. So Ornn does magic damage, so I thought I need an AP tank, and I need an AP tank with knockups. I can pick champions that fit those requirements. Malphite and Ornn. Magic damage, knockup, tank. Malphite is not particularly good when you have basically a lot of upfront burst, like Rengar, Yasuo, MF, in higher elo because the enemy team doesn't clump up as much, and if you burn everything on one target because of lack of communication, you can actually just lose off that because you don't have enough consistent damage. So I wanted to pick Ornn for the stronger lane matchup into the Scion because Malphite doesn't do super well in lane. He does well later, but not in lane. And then also for some more consistent damage. So it's like, say we kill someone instantly, which we're going to do with that composition. We kill another guy instantly. Now there's 3 people left. We lose a member. And now if we get out-damaged by the Camille and the Lucian and out-kited, we just lose the fight. But with Ornn, that doesn't happen. Because not only are you tanky, you do consistent damage with your Bellows Breath. So that's essentially the reason for the pick. And that's really what tank top is about. Picking the right tank into the right compositions with the right teammates. When you play tanks, basically all of them are pretty similar in mechanics. Obviously, it's better to play like one of them and stick to it, but in tank meta, we don't know which ones are going to be prevalent yet. So with tank meta alone, tank meta and AD carries are really the only roles that are exceptions to like the one trick policy or like the 2 trick policy, where you kind of need to play more than just 1 or 2 because the tier affects so much. Like imagine playing Maokai right now, like you're gonna have a bad time. That champion just sucks. So when you're playing tanks, you kind of need to play the better ones. So here we already knew that Camille jungle. As a Camille jungle player, I know exactly what she's trying to do. She's gonna look for a level 2 gank. She can't do it with blue buff. Why? Because she doesn't do a lot of damage with blue buff, and she doesn't have the slow, and it just feels awkward because if she needs a leash, which she does, then she can't kind of go with her bot lane. It just looks really telegraphed. It's not good. So she's going to start red. So everyone on my team knew that. So we're going to keep going. And to counter that level 2 gank, take a look at what I do here. Boom. So what this ward allows us to do, I'm going to show you the vision, is it allows us to see all of this, but also see if she walks past the raptor camp. She can sneak past here, but it's not really sneaking past, because if we don't see her on this ward, then she's either ganking top or went to her blue. She can't do either. She can't do anything else. She has to do one or the other. It is possible she can hookshot over this wall. It's really risky if Rengar's waiting. So that very rarely happens. And so based on this ward, we can basically triangulate her position. So here she is. So take a look at what she does. This ward allows us to track her gank pattern here. Now, just because she's higher, she's more likely to gank mid. I cannot push. I am a tank, but I am level 1. I'm very squishy. Squishy tank, no good. So if I push here to get a lane advantage against the Scion, and I get level 2 ganked, I just lost my team the game. That's not good. So even though I get lane pressure here because my enemy opponent has to leash, in most cases like this, you can push or try and push to get a lane advantage. In this case, I just can't do it. I have to respect the Camille. She walks right over the ward. We see her HP level. We see her health pots. We see everything. And so I think she gets pinged like crazy, or in the chat or whatever. I remember someone was calling it. So up in top lane, I'm kind of just farming, but I want to show you what happens here based on this ward. So tank is, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because tank, that is how tank works. Tank doesn't carry by killing everyone on the enemy team. Even if you get really fed, it's hard to do that. You carry by providing the tools for your team, 1, not to die, 2, get kills, and that's it, 1 and 2, not to die and get kills. So you'll see it as the game progresses. I play this constant theme of doing exactly that. And you might say, I'm in low elo, anywhere from bronze 5 to diamond 3 or whatever your low elo standards are. My teammates don't play well. The thing is, neither is your enemy top laner. So if you support your team better than they can, the probability is you're going to win. So that's generally how tank top carries. So take a look. So he knows this is coming. He's playing to the right side of the lane. He flashes the hook shot. And here comes Rengar. Ta-da! The counter gank goes successfully. And that was because of my ward. We saw exactly when she was there. Yasuo could play around it. And the jungle counter ganked. So, good example. Now, let's just watch the laning in the top lane. I'm going to make it a bit faster, but this is kind of how tank-on-tank laning goes. Let's put on 4 times speed, and I'll slow it down at key parts. So, it's basically just, it's something called, it's the long game, essentially. You're essentially playing to kick them out of lane in, like, hold on, 8 minutes? 9 minutes? You're not playing to kill them now. You can't do it. And if you take risky trades, you risk throwing the lane completely. And in a lane like Ornn versus Scion, where I have the advantage, why not just wait? So farm, get some small trades here and there, make them burn a pot, make them burn 2. It's a battle of attrition, we call it. That's the term that we use. And so you can see me doing just that. Battle of attrition. Don't want to miss CS. It's very bad. Pressure him off while the brittle proc is on. Immediately back off while the brittle proc is off. It's back and forth. Not giving him anything. Taking little trades here and there. That's how you want to play this. And how I play this for the entirety of the lane. Now, this is really cool. Because I didn't push the lane in the beginning and he mismanaged his wave. Look at this. 2 casters, the cannon. This is going to push towards me because it's in the middle of the lane. So these 2 casters are going to make a huge difference. Not only is he afraid of my Rengar ganking him because his Camille's playing bot side. Which, by the way, it's really obvious Camille's bot side here. I'm not sure what these 2 are doing. But he has to miss CS. And as he misses CS, I'm just going to go ahead and show you up here. I'm going to come back. Take a look at the CS numbers. 87 to 70. I kind of just slowly built up the CS lead. And every little bit counts in a battle of attrition, right? That's what attrition means. Alright, I'm going to go skip ahead a little bit more. Alright, Camille getting spot lane, and it's a real tragedy. I'm not entirely sure why they took that fight in the first place, because they actually lost it solo. So that was kind of tragic. So here, Rengar decided to farm instead of pressuring the Scion, and we could have froze the Scion out so hard, and I decided to do so anyway, because I had sustain in my pots. So this is a well-known trick to freeze a wave. So I basically Eternal Freeze it here. Now, if Rengar was here, Scion just loses, because he's going to lose 6 minions here, and we can keep up the freeze, and Camille's bot side, so this freeze goes on forever. And he could even counter jungle with that, but he decides to farm his own jungle instead. This is a huge macro error on the part of IMB, I think his name is. I don't know. I3MB. But, you know, whatever. Can't control my jungler, so I just play around it. So at this point, I recognize that my jungler's not coming, so I just continue to play the lane normally, just with the lane slow pushing towards me this time instead of Eternal Freezing. So I'm just chilling. It's a battle of attrition. Don't worry about anything else in the game. I have no control over it after all. And this is a thing that like people get mentally pressured in. Like they see these things happening. They see their bot lane die. They see like mid lane get pressured or whatever. And they're like, I can't do anything. I'm a tank. Most of the time you don't need to do anything. Like you're not going to lose the game off your bot lane dying once, twice, 3 times, or your mid lane dying once, twice, 3 times. It's not going to lose you the game. You could come back as a tank. If you're a fighter and you let your bot and mid die 1, 2, 3 times without impacting the map, the reason why you lose is because you're a fighter. You don't scale that well. But a tank does in every situation. He can side lane, he can team fight well, he can do all skirmish well, he can do all of those things well as the game progresses. And so that's why it's okay for you to just sit in lane, not buckle under the mental stress. That was kind of tragic, by the way. And just chill. That's exactly what I did here. Keep it on manual camera, please. Sleep. I agree. Alright, so we're just chilling. Just farming. 26 to 21, just slowly building up the CS lead. He has 2 corrupting pots on top of me because of that misplay that I did there. Technical misplay, but not really, because I was expecting the Rengar to come pressure. He did not. I was trying to pressure him off the cannon, but he gets it anyway. Now, this gank was incredibly forced, and this is a great ward placed by low player bad. It spotted out the Rengar gank and made it very, very hard to kill him, but he's still losing a lot of pressure in this lane. Now, because my Rengar showed, I want to equalize the pressure and allow my Rengar to do something, so I hard shove the wave. But, you know, he recognizes and doesn't let the wave crash, so I have to stay. I'm not allowed to back here. Now, this was actually Ornn experience, but I completely forgot that you could craft items in lane. I didn't buy any items. I should have. Big mistake on my part. I could have had a lot more combat stats, and I decided not to. Also, I forgot that you could buy completed items. Check this out. I bought a Sapphire Crystal, then a Cloth Armor, and now I'm building the Glacial. Let's just say that's not what you want to do. You want to build the actual item straight up. So, this was just Ornn experience. I hadn't played Ornn in a long while, but I got better, I swear. I don't know if I use that build function ever again. So again, my support just died. Things happening around the map. I have absolutely 0 control over it. Can't teleport. I'm not level 6. Nothing I can do. The wave's in a bad spot. Couldn't teleport anyway. Absolutely nothing to do here. He burns a lot of mana. I have to back off here because he has the kill potential with his ultimate. And I'm a tank, so I'm pretty squishy. So I concede the lane there. He can try and pressure me under tower. It's not very effective as a Scion. So instead, I managed to clear out this whole wave. Get a lot of CS. Alright, so now I know he backed because the timing is wrong. I pushed to this side because I know that Scion can sit in the bush and do his invisible Q trick. So I pushed to this side. Nothing happens. There's no knock-up. There's no nothing. So he backed. And this is where I get a shove timer on him, which is very, very good. It was a big mistake from his part. He should have shoved one more wave and then backed. But he allowed me to get a fantastic back timer in without burning my teleport. So things like this. This is actually like one of many macro plays that I made this game that allowed my team to win. So I did not burn. I do not need to use my teleport here. Very, very important that I got this back timer off. The difference between backing here and doing what I did there and just letting this wave sit there and back or teleporting or doing whatever, I saved my mid laner from this Camille gank. And so now he doesn't lose his lead. Camille is what? An early game jungler. If she doesn't get her early game pressure, what happens? You lose the game. So I managed to use my teleport here instead of here, and that's a big, big difference. I do lose a few minions for it, though, so that's kind of tragic. In fact, I lost 4 minions for that, but I saved my mid laner from death, so it's really important. I tried to build right in front of him. That didn't go very well. Alright, so there, in tank play, one thing that you can do is called exploratory trading, which means that you basically take small trades and you see how much damage you can do. Now, my mid laner is moving up. You see this? And I want to keep... I'm still trading with this guy. It's not a big deal. He burns this Q. And the moment I see this Camille, this is map awareness. As a tank, remember, you're a support auxiliary player. You're not carrying. You're not the 1v9ing. Even if you are 1v9, you need to look at your map. But on tank, it's even more important to look at your map. Information gathering. Who is on my screen? Who can I affect at this point in time? It's not very often that an opportunity comes by, but guess what? Here's the opportunity. I know that Camille has no hook shot, so she can't dodge this. She flashes, but it's not enough because this is a Yasuo. She has nothing up. Alright. And we win this. Now we turn on the Scion. He has no ultimate. Get the knock up, and he's dead. Alright. So if I didn't have the sense of mind to make sure I ulted there, very important to go ult as fast as possible. Force the Camille not to just 1v1 my Yasuo. That'd be pretty bad. Because of Skirmisher Saber, this is what allows her to do that 1v1. And if she like flashes Tornado or something, she very well could kill him, and the Scion could come in, and I would not be able to affect it. So ulting at the beginning there, forcing that flash out, making her not able to dodge those Qs is very important. So at this point, I need to shove this wave in a tower. I was actually testing there to see what would happen between my E and his knockup, and it turned out does work the same way that I thought it does. And like I said, exploratory trading in tank versus tank, taking some trades that you know you're going to lose. You have 3 corrupting pots with Time Warp Tonic. You can afford to lose them. So basically trying testing out different things, see what trades work for me, what doesn't. And I get a back timer here, which is really important because we had just won that fight, and I want to cash in on that fight. So now I get to pick up and refill my 3 corrupting pots, get that Bombing Cinder, head back to lane. It's a cannon wave, which is very good to back on because I'll show you what happens. So he clears these, and now the cannon is tanking all of these, as you can see, and so I actually don't miss any farm at all. Ta-da! So back on the cannon wave again. Don't have teleport, but I managed to get a good back timer off. And now this guy is at a severe disadvantage. I have 3 corrupting pots. I have the ability to build items in lane. And so check out how I can start building him now. I missed my W there because I'm bad at Ornn. We're going to continue. So small trades pressuring their Scion so he can't impact the map, and then getting opportunities where I can impact the map. And so this theme will continue through the entire game. So pressuring him out. Starting to trade with Scion. Damaging him out more and more. The more I damage him, the less he's able to actually roam to fights. Now, my Rengar gets a kill and 1-for-1s for it, so I'm not getting carried here. Yasuo is doing well because of my fight in the top lane, but the rest of my team is not doing so hot. It's going pretty even. Top lane here, I'm just dueling the guy. No one really kills anyone because it's tank versus tank. He flashes forward here. Misses his shield flash, but it wouldn't have mattered. He was out of range anyway. I misplayed it mechanically, but like I said, it's because I'm bad at Ornn. That will be fixed within, like... The cool thing about tanks is you learn them mechanically very fast. I'm pressuring him off the minions here. I'm threatening a dive. I know Camille's bot side, so I'm free to do this without any repercussions. Just slowly bleed him out. Cool thing about tanks, like as I was saying, is mechanically they're much easier to learn than any other champion. Very forgiving. So, Worlds meta is coming up, guys. That's the only reason I'm doing this video, including this Ornn segment. This Worlds is coming. That means tanks are coming. Got to know how to play a tank in solo queue and carry. And this is exactly how you do it. Because these tank versus tank matchups are going to be so common. And once tank meta rolls around, tanks will just destroy bruisers in lane, as is tradition. So, back on a cannon wave. My AD carry got a triple kill in exchange for 1, which is really, really good. So now at this point I got carried a little bit. But, got to keep the pressure up here. 10-5 is a 4k gold lead. Against Camille jungle, that is a pretty good place to be. But their rise mid is 1-0, the 107 CS. This game's not over yet. This is where the game kind of gets over. So, I just pushed in top lane. Scion is stuck. He has no teleport. Check out what I do here. Move mid. I have ultimate up. I have both summoners up. Here it comes. Now, he fails his flash. And he gets hit by it. He would have died regardless because we both had flash up. We would have both flashed forward. I would have flashed over this wall. He would have flashed forward. He would have died regardless. But now, the cool thing is I get this gank off and immediately transition towards this bot lane swap. And now everything is coming into place. We shut down their mid laner, and now I'm in bot lane where I can farm and keep up my CS lead. 101, 13 minutes. I've missed a lot mechanically, and a couple through macro. Now, I have teleport up. I have flash, and this is where the game ends. I'm in the right spot. My bot lane wave crashes into their tower, putting them in a really bad spot. And here comes a teleport in the top lane. They're already very low. But I make sure that we win the team fight. I come in, immediately start tanking the tower. I'm still tanking the tower. I'm going to keep tanking the tower. You see how I'm not going outside of the turret aggro here? I want to make sure that we can have the tower be completely neutralized. My mid laner gets a pentakill. If I didn't teleport there, is it possible we win that? Yes. Is it possible we lose that? Yes. But That is what auxiliary means. You augment the probability of your win. When you 1v9, you take that number and you rip it apart. You say, screw probability, I'm winning this game. But with a tank, you can't do that. You just slowly increase that probability more and more. Can you lose when you play perfectly as a tank? Yes. Can you lose a 99% dice roll? Yes. It's a 1% chance you lose. But it's very, very unlikely. So you play slowly, get small advantages, be at the places you need to be. Keep your teleport, like you saw I used it in this game, for positive impacts for the team, because it's one of your only ways to affect the map. Get the fights that you can, because top lane is an island, it's very far away from everything. In the fights that are nearby, make sure that you're there. Get small advantages on your laner, prevent them from doing anything. What does Sion do this game? Absolutely nothing. That's the answer. So that's how you win as a tank, and that's the end of the game, and therefore the end of our double VOD review. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free send me a message or leave it in the comments. If you have any feedback as well, yada yada. Anyway, thanks for watching again. Hope to see you in the future, and we'll be making many more educational content just like this. Have a good night. Peace.